الرحمن الرحيم وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله ودعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين فإن لم تفعلوا ولن تفعلوا فاتقوا النار التي وقودها الناس والحجارة أعدت للكافرين. These verses can be found in chapter 2, 23 and 24. Dearest sisters and brothers, esteemed listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are once more privileged. We have once more taken a very positive decision to spend time together, listening, searching, reviewing, and I hope that we are all very genuine and very sincere in this, so that the way we entered here will be better off when we'll be leaving here. I have been discussing with myself and you the activists in the time of the beloved Prophet and the activists in the time of every Prophet. And these activists were very active with their commitment to kufr. And kufr, if you were to become a student of the Qur'an, you will see a very, very large portion of the Qur'an is devoted to the disease of kufr, the malady of kufr, the characteristics of those with kufr, the great harm that those with kufr unleash not only on themselves but on the human society. And the Qur'an tells you and tells me in this 2 ayah that I rehearsed, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا. And if you entertain any suspicion, if you have any qualms, if you have any hesitancy, if you have any doubts, if you have anything that is holding you back, that is restricting you from gravitating towards divine loftiness, especially the divine loftiness that was handed down to the beloved messengers of Allah, then what you and I must do, we must bring forward the reason that is keeping us back, that is creating doubts in us, that is making us suspicious, that is preventing us from taking the positive stand of holding on to this guidance, of pursuing it, caressing it, and decorating our lives with it. And this is a challenge. This is a challenge to me, and this is a challenge to all of you, and to the entire world that is called the Muslim world. Of course, it's a challenge to all humanity. Put in a simple way, why is it that the Qur'an is not the centerpiece in our life? Why is it divine guidance is not the main pursuit? Why is it we are not very excited about divine guidance? We are not excited about learning it, memorizing it, studying it, deliberating it, building concepts on it, building programs on it, building social structures, building ourselves, building communities, rescuing humanities on its edifice. Why is it, if you were to look at Muslims, first and foremost, anywhere, it's not normal to see the Qur'an popping out in their lives. And this is something for us to consider. We seem to have a very laid-back relationship with the Qur'an. A selective relationship with the Qur'an. Certain times we might recite the Qur'an. Don't talk about analysis. Don't talk about studies. That's like climbing Mount Everest. Every 10 Muslims you meet, you're lucky if you find one who's a student of the Qur'an. And this challenge is for me and you. So the Qur'an says to us, وَإِن كُنْتُمْ فِي رَيْبٍ مِّمَّا نَزَّلْنَا عَلَى عَبْدِنَا فَأْتُوا بِسُورَةٍ مِّن مِثْلِهِ. If you have any doubt as to the revelation we have given to any of the messengers, and in this particular reference to the beloved Prophet Muhammad, then what do? You bring something better than it, or equal to it. Because there is no excuse for you and I to live a life less than a divine-oriented one. There is no excuse for you and I for not getting on the bandwagon of our family to live a divine life, a lofty and sublime life. There is no excuse for that. There is no excuse for you and I not being in leadership positions, for not taking leadership in society and calling community to a better way of thinking, to a better way of living. Muslims should be setting the standard for politics in the world in which we live in. But let us talk facts. Which Muslim politician you know about in Canada or in the Muslim world who stands up and speaks the values of the Qur'an? The Qur'an is in backstage. As the Qur'an tells us a very clear concept that they put the guidance of Allah behind their backs. نَبَذَهُ وَرَاءَ ظُهُورِهِمْ. The expression in Arabic, they put it behind their backs, mean this is not of priority to them. It's not important to them. And you can deal with me and I can deal with you, and we see this. In our discourse, in our dialogue, the Qur'an does not come up. There are lots of other things that come up, and we are not realizing what has happened to us, and what is happening to us, and what has happened to our children, and what will continue to happen to our grandchildren and our great-grand, unless we change our attitude. The Qur'an is not a book of religion. It's not a book of rituals. It's not a book of occasions. It's a book of life. And when you and I walk and sit and talk, when you and I go to work, when you and I associate, when you and I are challenged with